What's up, guys? Welcome back to Making Finances 60. It is me, Rose Short, aka the Red Queen. Come down the rabbit hole with me. I'm a financial consultant and a realtor here in Phoenix. I am also the CEO of Kronika Luxury. It is my mission to help you build multiple streams of income online, fire your boss, live your dream lifestyle, and just enjoy life in general. And with me, of course, is the wonderful and talented Miss Jessica Lay.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jessica, your Rent Rave own realtor and certified instructor with the company 101 Financial right here in the Valley of the Sun. It is my mission to help you move from renting into home ownership. No matter your situation, I'm ready to be your personal finance coach and first-time home buyer specialist.
Yes! And today, Jess is going to take us on a deep dive about budgeting, how to make, and more importantly, how to stick to a budget.
Exactly. And I can talk for hours on budgeting, but we're not going to do that here. I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible because sometimes I can just get very lost when we're talking personal finances and stuff because it's just something I'm really passionate about. And I'm really passionate about helping others understand that you don't need to work 2, 3 jobs if you have good financial management of your money. And so let's get into it.
Yes, let's go.
Oh, budgeting, it's super crucial for individuals, families, businesses, and organizations. It really helps in managing our finances effectively. By creating a budget, one can track income and expenses, set financial goals, prioritize spending, avoiding bad debt, and save for the future. So it provides having or making informed financial decisions provides us a clear picture of where our money is coming from and where it's going. It enables better control over our finances and ensuring financial stability in the long run.
Yeah, it's so easy to get to like the weekend and be like, where did all my money go? If
Yeah.
you're not sticking to a budget.
No, that definitely was me at one point. And frankly, when you're a young person, you don't really think about your money, like especially if you're hardworking, you work a full-time job. Of course, the weekend rolls around and you want to enjoy that money you're making, but we
Yes.
honestly just don't think about it, which is scary.
Yeah, well, it's that instant gratification thing, right? Like so many people think about the now, which it's great to live in the now, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But they don't, they don't want to think about the future or plan for the future properly, or they're just not taught how to do it. And so
Yeah,
that's where we come in.
exactly. So, what is a budget and why is it important? Budgeting is important because it provides a roadmap for our financial success. It helps us control our spending, again, avoiding the bad debt and saving for the future, achieving long-term financial stability. Business entities can prioritize certain expenses, identify areas for improvement, and make adjustments to achieve their financial goals. When we
Yes, love it.
There are a few myths, or I like to feel like budgeting scares people, plain and simple, but it shouldn't because or the end goal of budgeting is to save money and take that vacation we've always wanted to take or buy your first house. And there's just so much you can gain from budgeting. But some of the myths that I've heard, and you've probably heard as well, Rose, is budgeting is too restrictive. While budgeting involves setting limits on our spending, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. I love going to music festivals and raves. I am enjoying my life still, like
Yes.
to the fullest. Budget can be flexible and tailored to your needs, your specific needs and priorities. And that's what I love about my program, 101 Financial, is we create a specific plan that is totally catered to you and what you like and what you want to achieve in life. It's awesome.
Yes. And so many times too, people don't necessarily understand the difference between what is a fixed expense and what is a variable expense. And I know you guys go into that as well, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fixed and variable expenses is a good way to start your budgeting journey is you want to list out what it is you're spending like a month that's set on a specific day, which is your fixed expense, and then your variables is going out to eat, your entertainment, getting your hair done, nails done, and things like that. And again, we don't want to restrict you from all those things you like to do. We just want to become more aware and see if what you're spending your money on is outweighing the money you make, which is where you get into debt and a lot of trouble most times.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that the money in versus the money out, the money in needs to be higher than the money out.
Mhm.
And now for what I do my budget, I use a very simple Excel spreadsheet. But your program has a much more in-depth piece of software built into it.
Yeah, exactly. So I personally, I'm getting better at spreadsheets now, but I'm really grateful for having a program where you get set up with your own login and it's super user friendly. You can track everything, input everything we need, and then it just blasts it on like its own spreadsheet that even calculates your checking account balance in it with each income and expense coming out of it. Super, super simple.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so often it comes down to just knowing when things are going to come out, right? And knowing what subscriptions are coming out. So I can't count how many times I've been talking to people and they've been like, "Yeah, I thought I was good, and then this subscription that I forgot about came out," or like, "I thought it came out next week and it came out this week." So tracking the dates is super, super important as well.
Yeah, and another myth with budgeting is people say it's too time consuming, but with these modern tools and apps out there, I am in and out of my projections. That's what we call them. I don't know. I spend 10, 15 minutes maybe like when I don't even look at it every day. It's more once a week almost. So
Yeah.
it really is not that time consuming. And also people feel like budgeting is only if you're having current financial troubles, but it's beneficial for everyone regardless of your financial situation. It just helps individuals manage their money efficiently, save for our goals, and build financial security. And we definitely need to start focusing more on financial security because we've mentioned it before, our generations may not even see social security. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and we don't have the job security that we used to, let's be honest. And um going back to the tools, like I remember my dad sitting down and balancing his checkbook, which nobody does anymore. But sitting down and balancing his checkbook and checking it against his budget sheet and like, transferring everything by hand and whatnot.
Mhm.
And that was time consuming. That was a good, hour or two on the weekends. But now, like you said, you can check it. And like I use mine a lot of times because I have a lot of stuff that comes out in the first week of the month. It's just kind of how everything worked, right? So in the middle of the month, I'll look at where I'm at and I'll calculate how much I need through like the third of the next month to make sure that I'm not overspending anywhere. And sometimes that number gets a little nerve-wracking. But the ability to look ahead and be like, okay, well, I've got this much, but I need this much in my account. And like maybe my affiliate marketing is not doing so well this week. Maybe I took some time off. I have to adjust for those things. And so it's super beneficial that way of being able to look ahead and be like, yeah, I probably could afford it, but maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, and that looking ahead is a amazing point because when my students have everything laid out like that, yeah, we might run into, whoa, that the first week of every month you're just completely wrecked. You have nothing left. You may even be negative, which sucks. So having that visual helps us to say, hey, call your like Verizon, like if that's your carrier, and ask them if my bill's on the 5th and I have no money the first week of any month because of rent and all these other bills. We ask them if we can move it to the end of the month, and like just having that ability to see where everything is at and pulling out of your account and then making adjustments wherever you can, calling your different utilities, bills, whatever, and spreading them out more within the month can make a huge difference. And you'll start to notice that you can free up cash flow and start actually building a savings by
Yeah. A lot of companies nowadays are way more flexible with the date that you pay them than they used to be.
mm-hmm. Creating a budget. So, tips for setting realistic financial goals within your budget. Just like with goal setting, creating a budget, you want to be specific and measurable. So, don't say, I'm going to save money, specify the amount and have a timeline, such as, I'm going to save $500 in 3 months. Specific and measurable. Also, you're going to set goals that are realistic based on your income and expenses. Set your priorities, identify your most important financial goals and focus on them first. And prioritizing goals will help you allocate resources effectively. You'll want to review and adjust regularly. Again, it's like goal setting.
Yep.
Review and adjust regularly. Periodically review your financial goals, and life circumstances may change, so it's important to adapt your financial goals accordingly. And then celebrate milestones. So stay motivated. Recognizing your progress can help you stay on track and continue working towards financial goals, because it's not pretty dealing with our finances in the beginning. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to look at it. Like,
Yeah.
but if you stick to it, like, I'm here now, I'm buying a house. I never thought, like, when I was 20, 21, that I would be now 27, I think, and purchasing my first home. And it's incredible. And it just started me taking that chance to enroll in a course and change the way I was handling my personal finances.
Yeah. So awesome.
Thanks.
So sticking to the budget, I think, is probably harder for most people once they get over the initial hurdle. And I think that's where we've talked about before, pull the cash out that you're allowing yourself for the week, or if you know that the money sitting in that bank account is going to get spent, then allocate a percentage or an amount per paycheck if you direct deposit to a separate account that you don't get. Even in a separate bank, even if you're one of the people that can't even have them, combined. Like Chase, you can have a savings and a checking, but you can see them on the same page. Have one account at Chase and one account with Bank of America or whoever it might be. There's lots of ways like that to help you stick to it. And there's going to be times where you're like, you know what, I've been good. And yeah, this is 10, 20, $30 over, but it's fine. I need to treat myself. And, that is fine. It's absolutely fine to do that every now and then. Yeah. But really, really make an effort and reward yourself in non-financial ways for sticking to the budget, right? So that could be, say you have ice cream in the freezer, but you only eat it once you stuck to your goal, or, whatever your favorite candy or something like that might be. Mm-hmm. There are many ways to treat yourself that don't include spending that money.
Yeah, no, exactly. And a big thing for me when I was budgeting was to avoid temptations altogether. So staying away from our certain situations or environments that may tempt you to overspend, such as shopping malls, or in my case was partying with my friends. Buy everyone shots. Yeah, it was so much fun, but it was always so tempting. So getting that invite now to go out and whatnot, I'm kind of more, no, I need, I'm going to stay in. I have this goal of buying a house. That's kind of partly why I quit drinking for now. Yeah. Because literally it's helped me save a lot of money, just taking this sacrifice to get to my goal, and then I can treat myself after.
Yeah. Or even, especially in today's digital age, delete apps that are likely to take money, right? So delete the Amazon app off of your phone. For my flatmate, it was DoorDash.
Oh
He
yeah.
would get hungry and he would just DoorDash stuff. And I was like, how are you always broke? Like you have like maybe $1,000 in bills a month. How are
Hmm.
you broke? That's because he was door dashing food every day.
Yeah.
So I know anytime he needs to save money, he just deletes that app and he's good.
Yeah. So like practicing, we've talked about before, delayed gratifications. So waiting before making non-essential purchases, ensure that they align with your priorities and your goals. Like, sleeping on it. Don't click that buy now. I've been there, TikTok shop every time. I'm just like, I want that so bad. But then I'm like, no, let it sit in my cart. And then once I look at it again the next day or next few days, sometimes I'm like, nah, like I don't need it. I don't really want it anymore. In that moment, I wanted it, but now the next day, I don't I don't want it.
Yeah, so much marketing is targeted specifically to create an emotional response from you. And like, so same as when we talk about decision making or goal setting or any of that kind of stuff, like give it a day, like give yourself time to process it because you're without realizing it, you're getting some sort of emotional attachment to whatever it is. And then once you've walked away from it, that emotional attachment is gone. And then you can look at it and be like, I really don't need this.
For sure. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about when we're faced with unexpected expenses. That happens to both of us pretty
Yeah.
frequently, I hate to say, but at least we know how to manage our money efficiently. So, a few steps you might want to consider when these unexpected expenses arise is first of all, emergency savings funds are amazing. You'll want to consider using it to cover all your unexpected expenses and replenish the fund as soon as possible to maintain that financial security. But if you don't have an emergency fund, which a sad fact is most Americans do not have enough to cover even $1,000 costing emergency. So you um goes kind of back to emotional responses. You don't want to freak out. That doesn't solve anything. You want to assess whatever the situation is and evaluate the nature and urgency of that unexpected expense. Determine if it's a one time cost or if it's a recurring issue that needs to be addressed in your budget. Because if it's going to keep happening, you're going to want to adjust your budget amount to account for it. And then prioritize the expense, rank that unexpected expense in terms of importance and urgency compared to your other financial obligations. So, again, the phone bill, they're not going to shut it off if you didn't pay it that month. Like sometimes you get that leeway. I mean, if you don't pay it for 2 months because you're trying to account for that emergency that came up, then they might hit you up that second month and be like, hey, you need to pay this. But usually, even utility bills, they're not going to just shut you down like that. So, move stuff, cut down on your weekly spending for the next couple weeks so you can replenish a little bit and then calculate any missed payments and get those paid as soon as possible. And that goes back to visually seeing your income and expenses. And I talk about my app a lot. It's just so easy and so perfectly laid out where we can make those adjustments when they happen.
Yeah, and those are all really, really great points, Jess.
Thank you. So, to wrap things up, budgeting and long term financial planning are really closely intertwined and they play an essential role in achieving our financial stability and peace of mind that we always long for and reaching our long term goals. And I wanted to talk about how long term financial planning and budgeting is similar. So, goal setting, long term financial planning involves specific goals such as saving for retirement, buying a house, or funding a child's education. And budgeting helps break down these long term goals into manageable steps by allocating the resources effectively over time. Talking about resource allocation, Budgeting is the process of allocating income to various expenses, savings, and investments. And long-term financial planning requires consistent saving and investing over time to achieve our financial goals. And budgeting helps ensure that our resources are allocated efficiently to support our long-term goals. There's risk management. Long-term financial planning involves assessing risks and creating strategies to mitigate them. Budgeting plays the role in managing financial risks by creating a buffer for emergencies, unexpected expenses, or market fluctuations. So very, very similar and very powerful tool when we're budgeting in our personal finance lives. And I think everybody should give it a try and
I agree.
set their specific and measurable goal. You can start today, like literally any time. And I'm always available for free private consultations because, again, I like to get to know my students. I always ask like what their goals are, and we just work from there.
Yeah, you can even get started with your bank, right? A lot of the banking apps or even the banking websites now have, are you trying to improve your credit or, goals that you can set within that as well. So there's plenty of resources out there. And like Jess said, schedule a free consultation with her if you get a chance because it's fantastic stuff. And it could change your entire future.
Yes, and you don't have to do it alone. That was my thing. I wasn't
Yes.
about to sit in Excel and lay out all my finances on my own. No way. I needed somebody to hold my hand in the beginning. And
That's fair.
but
I love my Excel sheets, I'm just saying.
there's two
But
different
I also
people.
learned it from my father, so
No, that's awesome to come from family members that do know how to manage their money. That is really helpful, and you want to look up to those people. I know there's a lot of people that aren't fortunate enough to have that person to lean on.
all right, guys, awesome. Love budgeting and kind of caveating off of budgeting as well. Next week, we're going to talk about how to mitigate and handle credit card increases when the bank increases your limit when you didn't ask for it, and how you make sure you don't overspend when that happens.
Careful spending money that's not yours.
Yep, it's pitfall. So that's what we'll talk about next week. Keep it sexy.